everyone, my name is Elena and welcome to another video here at the Selfless Squad YouTube channel. I am very excited to be covering the topic. This that I have prepared is a very special video that I hope that you all enjoy. But before getting into it, I just want to tell you something very straightforwardly, which is that I have a tremendous cold and it just won't go away. So I've been kind of delaying recording this video in hopes to feel better, but it just doesn't happen. So in case that you hear my voice weird, that's because of it, or in case that you see that my nose is kind of reddish. I hope that I will be able to record this video without sneezing, and if not, well, I just got it. But I didn't want to not record this video because I think that it's going to be really useful for all of you that are wondering what is Paldea Evolved going to be looking like and the impact that it's going to have in our standard metagame. Before diving into it, I just very quickly want to remind you that in case that you enjoy this type of content and you want to support the video, to support the team, that we are always leaving you some links below in the description where you can acquire these cards. So for instance, at PTC VSTAR or at Atlas Collectionables, not only if you use our discount code, not only you will get a discount, but also you will get like premium service. So with that being said, let's talk about Paldea Evolved. Again, like this is the second set of the new era, the Scarlet and Violet era, and it features the three main Pokemon from the game. So we have Muscarada, we have Skeletrich. Well, I don't know the name of this Pokemon. I'm really bad with Pokemon names and Quacklevel. But I won't be talking about them in today's video because I want to give you a quick taste, I want to look at the future. I want to tell you what is happening in Japan, which often can be taken as an indicator of what we could potentially face here. So we are going to be checking the tier list that Japan has been seeing over the past few weeks, and then we will be looking at each of these deck lists together, identify their weak and their strong points, and try to come up with a prediction of what would happen in the future. Now, so let me go to this first graphic that I have prepared here that has been put together based on some of the top placements that have been gotten by these different types of decks, and they have been ranked according to how popular the deck is and the amount of results that they got it, the amount of times that they got to that top position. Now, we need to take this with a pinch of salt. It is true, however, that I really believe that it's very difficult that a game that is not performing well in Japan suddenly becomes the best deck in format. I think that that's not going to happen. But it is true that the deck that we saw winning all tournaments in Japan was Giratina VSTAR, which to me, in our standard metagame, is kind of like an underperforming deck. I'm not saying that the deck is bad, the deck is objectively good, but I'm just saying that this should be taken as some sort of insights of what could be. Not that this has to be maintained or anything. What surprises me, well, kind of, is that Gardevoir is the undisputed tier S deck. Then it's followed in terms of popularity by Arceus Giratina, by Giratina VSTAR, Lugia, then VSTAR, and then we have other things like Chien Pao, we have Goodra, we have Mew, we have Duraludon, and we have Miraidon. I do have to say that I agree with this tier list. I think that it's very possible that this becomes the new normal. Gardevoir receives a lot of amazing additions that are going to make the deck even more consistent than it already was. Then I am a bit unsure about the place that Giratina VSTAR and Arceus Giratina will play, because I do think that they are consistent decks. Arceus Giratina, in my opinion, is the most consistent Arceus build that we have available, but I'm not sure whether they are going to be immediately following Gardevoir. Lugia gets better. It's not that Lugia was completely dominating the format. I think that is a deck that you have to respect, and if it's now getting better, I can see it maybe climbing to a top, to a tier 1.5 maybe. VSTAR, I agree that it won't be as popular as it used to. I still think that the deck is very flexible, that it has a lot of possible combinations, so it will remain very popular. And then the rest of the decks, I really wish, or I really hope that both Chien Pao and Mew, they are more played, but I understand that they are not, they can just not keep up with things like Gardevoir or Lost Box. So having said that, I don't know if this is going to become a reality or not, but having said that, let's move into each of them. Let's explore how they are built and the good and the bad things that they will bring. And we, of course, need to start with Gardevoir. By the way, don't worry, because I'm going to be leaving you the links of these images so that you can check them when you have some time. I hope that you can see it just in case, because I am kind of in front. This deck runs 11 psychic energies. So this is the deck list that actually won the latest regional in Japan. Like thousands of players played there, and this is the one that got to the first place. The biggest change here, I feel, is Iono. That's the thing. So that's the tweet. Caption it. Iono is one of the strongest supporters I've ever seen. It's not only like a great comeback mechanic, but it combines all the good things that N had and all the good things, or all the disruptive things that Marnie bring to the table. So what I really see happening is that if Gardevoir has a supporter that allows it to be even more consistent, to stop discarding valuable resources, and to have a really, really powerful weapon that can be activated mid and late game, then I completely understand that Gardevoir is going to climb one step up in the ladder. Now, I think that also another good thing that with Iono is that you might be able to stop Lost Box from setting up, or Lost Box from finding all the resources that they need. In my mind, I think it's logical to believe that if Dex starts running for Ionos, then Lost Box is going to decrease in popularity because, if you are disrupting their hand continuously, they might whiff Clara, they might whiff an energy, or they might whiff attackers. So that's a very, very standard Gardevoir EX list. The rest is pretty much similar to the things that we already run, with the another addition of now the triple energy. Let me check the name, 1 second. Sorry, reversal energy, that's what the energy is called. It's a really powerful energy because it can only be activated when you are losing. If not, it only provides, I think it's a colorless energy, but when active, it provides basically 3 energies of whatever type. And this is an amazing comeback mechanic because think about the implication that this has for your attackers, Seishan V and Shining Arcana Gardevoir. You just attach the energy and you hit way harder than you used to. Now, this is another version of Gardevoir, the deck that actually got second in the tournament. You see that it's not that different. The 4 Ionos are theirs, or Ionos, I don't know how is that going to be pronounced, and the special energy, and it also runs 1 Drifloon. Now, precisely talking about Drifloon, something that I want to point out is that I've seen some version or some people getting very hyped about the possibility of playing Drifloon with this new card that boost the HP of basic Pokemon, and with maybe some healing cards like some Champions Festival. I am not entirely sure whether that is going to be the preferred Gardevoir option. I understand the value that it brings, and I understand that now Drifloon can go wild and destroy everything, dealing up to 300 damage, but it's just that in my mind it will be a bit more difficult to be able to gather all the pieces. So that's why I think that the Gardevoir decks that we are going to see are going to be exactly like the one that you are seeing on a screen. So that is all that I have to say about Gardevoir. So nothing changes, nothing substantial changes, but Iono is really going to make a difference, as well as the special energy. Now, talking precisely about special energies. So if there is a deck that is well known for being able to splash or for being able to use as many special energies as they want, is Lugia V. I'm going to show you 2 different versions of Lugia V. I don't know exactly, I will need to test them both to determine which one is better. This is standard Lugia. So we have the Tyranitar's 2 attacks, we have the Iveltal, we have the Stonjourner, we have the Radiant Serena, nothing that you're not familiar with. Now, what you might not be familiar with is with that Luxray and with that special energy that is out there. So this special energy, basically what it does is when you attach it to one Pokemon on your bench, it then becomes your active Pokemon. So it's really good because it solves one of the biggest problems that Lugia has, which was the lack of switching. Hehe, Mawile, does it ring a bell? You know. And then that Luxray is actually really cool because it can be directly played from your hand when you are losing, and then it deals 180 damage, which by the way is something that you can easily get if you're losing again by activating the reversal energy. So that's why it's a late game, a very efficient late game one price attacker. So that's why I am really excited to see how, what type of decks Luxray is going to make an appearance. And well, of course, the other change that you can see here is that the 2 copies of Judge has been changed for Iono, which makes perfect sense because Iono is more effective than Judge. And then this is another version of something that I would like to call colorless Lugia that has become really, really popular in Japan. Now, I am not entirely sure of which version is better again, but basically what you do here is you attack with a Snorlax, then you also run one Wireden, is that the name? This of the deer Pokemon, and you go with it and you just roll with it. Squawkability might be a good addition for Lugia decks in case that you really don't want to miss the setup. I have some concerns about this parrot Pokemon being played because I feel it's a really easy bosses orders target, but well, it is what it is. So again, like standard Lugia build, I think that it's not that Lugia is going to become more consistent, it's just that Lugia has now slightly more varied attackers for it to go against different game situations. Now, I still think that the problem that we have when playing Lugia is being able to use the VSTAR power in turn 2, and I'm not entirely sure of how easy that's going to be, because if you've played through Lugia, you know that it brings like 1/3 of the times. Anyways, now another thing that I want to, or another deck that I really, really briefly want to mention is Giratina Lost Box, because again, like to me, it's a bit, it's weird, or not weird, but it's surprising that it has been always performing so well in Japan, but here in Europe and other, in the States and other anywhere outside Japan, Giratina is kind of like a tier 2 deck. So, but maybe this is the moment that it has to shine. So, some things that you might be noticing about these builds is that they are running the Switching Energy, so 4 copies of Switching Energy. They are running 2 copies of Ordinary Rod, which is going to, Super Rod. Yeah, Super Rod. Ordinary Rod is the one that rotated. I told you, like, I have a tremendous cold and it's sometimes difficult to think and speak at the same time. So now Super Rod is going to be a huge addition for all Lost Box engines, because you no longer need Clara, or you are less dependent on Clara. And I feel that every Lost Box deck is going to be running maybe 2 Super Rods and 1 Clara. I don't know how they are going to be adjusting that, but it's a great recycling item that does not take your supporter spot. And something different about this deck is that they are running 1 Spiritomb that completely destroys Mew. Now, another option would be not to run Spiritomb, and let me make this bigger for you, not to run Spiritomb and go for good old Drapion VSTAR, if that is something that you are still confident about. Drapion is still kind of good. I mean, you can always kind of power it up against Gardevoir if you really want it. But you see, switching energies, and this one runs 1 Super Rod and 1 Clara. It's all about finding the balance. I think that there is no right or wrong answer. It also will depend on your playing style. And then we have Lost Box, which I don't think it's going to suffer any major changes, except for maybe Super Rod, that it's definitely going to be included. So this one is running the split that I just talked about, so 2 Super Rods and 1 Clara. But I guess that this depends. Maybe since this is a Kyogre version, maybe you really, really want to, but it's also running to energy recyclers. So I think it will be up to you to play around with the amount of recycling cards that you want to run. You're not saying it, but it runs these 5/3/3 energies. Again, I don't think that it will suffer major changes apart from the recycling count. However, something that really interests me, and I am actually not sure about how this is going to turn out, is that instead of running 2 copies of the stadium that has been run until now, which is Beach Court. Now they are going to be running this new stadium that also comes in Paldea Evolved, that basically lets you search and play directly in your bench one non-rule box Pokemon. And this is huge, of course. This is huge for many decks. It could even be played in Gardevoir or something that focuses on one price attackers. But I think that the 1-1 split of these stadium cards makes total sense. So in my mind, these are all the tier 1's deck, and we have already gone through them. I mean, I haven't shown you an Arceus Giratina, but basically because nothing changes. Arceus Giratina remains untouched, except for the fact that maybe instead of all of them running Judge, they might want to include one Iono, but that is it. But now I want to show you a couple of different tier, like low tier decks, but that I thought it was worth showing nonetheless. The first one features Chien Pao. Now, Chien Pao, I really have high expectations about it. The only issue that I see with this deck is whether it has the chance to beat one price attackers, to beat Lost Box specifically. Oh yeah, of course. I mean, you can always go for Green Ninja and hope for the best, but it's not that you're going to get rid of Manaphy so easily. Are you? So Chien Pao basically can modulate the damage that it does. It can be powered up really easy with Baxcalibur, and then you have Palkia to support and to attack in case that you need another more sturdy 2 price attackers. That Kyogre, by the way, is actually pretty good because it attacks and then you take all the energies back into your hand and it deals 180 damage. I feel that this is like a very standard type of build, the one that we are going to be seeing the most. But again, it's considered a low tier in Japan for a reason, and that is something that sadly I agree with. I don't think that it can actually compete with things like Gardevoir, with things like Lost Box, or with things like Arceus, but that's something that definitely we will need to see. Again, I have expectations about this deck, but not sure if they are going to be met. And this is the very, very, very last deck that I want to point out, because I've seen a lot of discussion around Ting Lu. Now, Ting Lu has a really important ability that basically shuts down all the abilities from other Pokemon as long as they have a counter on it, a damage counter on it. So people are like, oh my god, this is going to be just insane, the game is going to become unplayable. But if you think about it and if you see how these decks are built, as soon as your opponent is able to power up something that is able to attack through Ting Lu, it's going to be really, really, really difficult to power up another attacker. So I completely get that you might be able to stop abilities at least from some time. But once your opponent is able to attack you and to KO your first Ting Lu, I feel that this is where this deck starts to crumble down. So I just want to show you this deck list in case that you want to have it in mind. Of course, don't worry, because when Paldea Evolves come, we are going to be covering in detail all of these decks, but it's just that it's better in theory than it is in real life. Okay, so that was basically it. I don't know what you guys think about this tier list. I don't know what you guys are excited to test. I think that Paldea Evolved is going to be massive for our standard format. I didn't cover every single deck, or I just covered the decks that I consider that might be played the most. Not that I'm going to be doing a deck review now on Muscarada EX, which I might in the future. But yeah, just wanted to give you a quick overview of what we can expect in the following weeks. And don't forget that this is the metagame that we will have in Nike, but also in Worlds. So yeah, stay tuned. We are going to be covering all these decks in more detail. And thanks so much for watching. So bye bye.
The Shuffle Squad is proudly sponsored by Ultimate Guard. Ultimate Guard provides premium protection for your cards. If you need anything from sleeves to deck boxes, then Ultimate Guard has you covered. If you're a player or just a collector, you know that your cards will be protected. Check out their top-of-the-line katana sleeves. These are the best sleeves on the market with a clear window for visibility and provide a perfect shuffle. If you're not a fan of clear windowed sleeves, then Cortexes are for you. These matted sleeves are like their katanas, but at a lower price. Their shuffle is just as good and the protection is superb. So, what are you waiting for? Help support the team by checking out the affiliate link below and ordering some fresh Ultimate Guard products today to get you shuffling.
The Shuffle Squad is proudly sponsored by Atlas Collectibles, the best place to buy any trading card game product online. Visit atlastcg.com and at the checkout screen make sure to use code TSS12 to save an unbeatable 12% off your entire order. Atlas Collectibles will ship your product anywhere in the world, so make sure you're taking advantage of the 12% savings with TSS12. And if Pokemon is not your thing, don't worry. Go to atlastcg.com and see all the other amazing trading card game products they have there to offer.
The Shuffle Squad is partnered with PTC Geostore to provide our community with the best access to Pokemon TCG codes. They have codes available 24/7, instant email delivery, and you can save 5% off by using code TSS5. If you're a YouTube member or Patreon supporter, you'll have access to a special code that gets you 10% off. So what are you waiting for? Use code TSS5 today and save 5% on your next order of codes on any codes available at ptcgeostore.com.
Are you trying to be the best like no one ever was? Now is your time. Head on over to Metafy.gg and search out all our amazing Pokemon TCG coaches where you can book all sorts of training plans ranging from deck help to full season sessions with your favorite coach. What a great way to up your game. Check out Metafy.gg in the description below and take your game to the next level. Challenge yourself against trainers from around the world to compete for the biggest online prizing yet.
Are you ready for an unbelievable tournament unlike anything else you've ever seen before? The Shuffle Squad is proud to announce our newest tournament series, the Late Night Events, with an amazing grand prize that's bound to have you excited.
Players can compete via play.limitless.tcg.com's online tournament platform every Tuesday to get a chance to earn weekly prizes. And every week, your placement in the tournament is tallied by points based on your best finishes to earn your rank for the Late Night Invitational event.
The series will be conducted starting February 7th of 2023 and carry all the way through to the Invitational on July 9th of 2023, where the top players will be rewarded the grand prizing.
And the grand prize is a signed jersey and photo op with the entire Shuffle Squad, as well as a fully paid trip to the Pokemon World Championships in Yokohama, Japan. This includes hotel and airfare, whether you're a player or a spectator.
Don't forget to check out all the live coverage on our YouTube and Twitch channel of the top cuts of these events for every week. And subscribe so you can get notified where to watch the Late Night Events Invitational brought to you by the Shuffle Squad. Now get out there and start winning. We'll see you in Japan.